Hey guys, Green here with another tutorial video. This time it will be about Protoss, but it will be for all of the races. This will be about proxy pylons, indications of builds, and just general knowledge and understanding what you're seeing when you play against a Protoss. Similar to poker, a Protoss player has tells. Tells that can literally inform you exactly what the Protoss is doing without actually having to see anything other than things that are unrelated to that actual tech or unit. So by putting 1, 2, and 3 variables together, we come to our proper answer, which is the opponent's tech. And this will prevent you from getting cheesed by oracles, DTs, blinkstalkers, immortals that are proxied, just anything that a Protoss might not want you to see. You can understand exactly what he's doing and basically see it without seeing. Everything from the simplest thing to a placement of a pylon to the taking of gas, the chrono boost, it all means something. So let's get into what those things mean and how you can determine what they're doing. The first thing that you want to notice as you're watching this video is the time plus the supply. This is an indication of when a Protoss is going to be putting down his second pylon, which is one of the most critical pylons in a match for a Protoss. Right around now, getting towards 18 supply, a pylon should be down. So we can assume that if we don't see a pylon, that something's up. And then if we do see a pylon, that maybe something is just normal, right? He's just normally macroing. So let's just keep going forward. Let's assume that right around now you get into his base at around 3 minutes. Okay? He's at 18 supply. There needs to be a pylon. If there is no pylon in his base right here, don't get alarmed. He might be putting the pylon somewhere else, maybe around the side. So upon entering his base and not seeing a pylon around that location, start scouting. Scout all these locations, everywhere. Look all around the second base, around the sides of the base. Now, let's talk hypothetically for a moment. Let's say we were to find a second pylon right here. Him putting this pylon actually means something to you. If he is putting a pylon right here, it means he wants to be able to warp in low ground here. And if he wants to warp in low ground here, then it probably means he wants to fight here. And if he wants to fight here, it means he's defending what's here. So if we see a pylon here, the first thing we're thinking to ourselves is he's taking a base. Now the same goes for a pylon placed right here. If he's putting a pylon right here, this is generally what you'd see against a Zerg, then he's probably trying to wall off. If he's trying to wall off, he's probably taking a base. So again, in our head, we've seen something, and we can now coincide a response with that simple pylon placement. Now, in this video, he's proxying a pylon, and that he is me. So I'm proxying this pylon here, and let's say for this video, we didn't see a pylon in any of these locations. Now you can rightly assume that, guess what, he proxied a pylon. Now, just knowing that he proxied a pylon doesn't really tell you anything. It just tells you that he proxied a pylon. He could be putting a tech on that pylon. He could be putting gateways on that pylon. And when the stalker comes out, you might not know. So how do we determine if he's doing a 4-gate on this proxy pylon or if he's just proxying tech? Well, the next two indicators will tell you which one it is. And the next two indicators are gas and chrono boost. So let's pause it here for a second. Now, you can still have your probe in the base right now because Cybernetics Core is not done, which means there's no chance of a stalker being out, and Zealots can't actually hunt down a probe. So if he chose to not make 2 workers and make a Zealot, he can't actually kill your scouting probe. Your job is to stay in here as long as possible and see this as well as chrono boost usage. If we do not see a second gas, and he is stacking up his chrono boost, he has a Zealot out, it's probably a 4-gate. If we do see all the chrono boost being used and we do see a second gas, then we can assume that he's proxying tech. He needs more income to produce the tech, and he needs more gas to afford it. So right now we've looked at 2 indicators, or 2 things, really 3 things that lead to our conclusions. We don't see a pylon that leads towards macroing on a second base. We don't see a pylon in the main base, so we know it's proxied. And he's using his chrono boost and taking a gas. So you can properly assume proxy tech. But what proxy tech? It could be oracles, it can be DTs, it can be blinkstalkers, it could be a robo, it could be lots of things. So how do we determine what it is? Well, We can't know for sure, okay? But we can kind of make decent assumptions again and then add everything together and come to a conclusion. Let's pause it right about now. Right about now we're approaching what Protoss would have had was 150 gas, which means at around 3:45 he could have put a Stargate down. In this video I put Twilight Council. Now again, if we knew this was a Twilight Council and nothing else, we don't even know if this is Twilight Council or maybe he wants to go into Dark Shrine. We have to know for sure, but we know that he proxied a pylon. So the first job of somebody who knows they're proxying a pylon is get their units out on the map. You need to be scouting. You need to be looking down all the spots. Sometimes they proxy here. You know, it's not just over here. It's not just over in these spots. Generally speaking, if you're doing a Stargate tech, you want it closer to the base. And if you're doing some sort of Dark Templar tech, you want it in more of an obscure spot like over here. That has no use positionally, but is out of the way and makes it hard. So if you're a Zerg, have your Overlords scout around here and send your Lings along the edges. And if you're a Terran, hopefully you have Reapers and you can send them along the sides. Now, you're probably thinking, well, maybe there's another indicator that I can have, and you know, how will I know exactly, you know, what he's doing if I don't find things? Well, there's a semi-common rule in terms of determining what a tech a Protoss is proxying or going by actually just seeing what units they're making. Generally speaking, Robotech uses less gas. It's 100 gas to put the structure down, and it's only 100 gas to build an immortal. So if we refer to our checklist and kind of say to ourselves, okay, well, what units can he build if he's not using much gas? Well, if he's building lots of sentries, and you know he proxied a tech, then it's probably an immortal build. There's no reason for him to build sentries if he's going Dark Shrine and needs the extra gas, or Blink Stalkers if he needs more Stalkers. So if you see sentries, again, think to yourself, okay, I see sentries. Now, it might be Dark Shrine, but it could also very easily be an immortal all-in. So we're kind of just like leaning ourselves towards what we think it is without actually knowing exactly what it is. Then when your scouting Ling or scouting Reaper or scouting Marine finds this proxy tech that you knew to scout for way ahead of time, you can confirm it and you can properly defend against it. So this is my tutorial video on how to determine what a Protoss is doing through indicators. If you have any questions, you know, please post them in the comment. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.